Sci-Fi Radio.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We would be honored if you would join us.
You can always tell when Jeff is in studio because the beatboxing matches. Happy New Year, everybody.
My goodness.
It's another Thursday night, another episode of Docking Bay 94, episode 27 of season 12, if you're counting. But I hope you had a good and happy New Year.
Yeah.
We didn't do much.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
This is Jeff Donoho.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And here we are, eh? Looking pretty good.
Here we are all alone.
All alone.
Oh.
No one in the chat. Well, someone will turn up. Wait.
It'll turn up in something.
Right. Somewhere. I know that we're actually on the air, which is nice.
That is nice. I'm
Looking.
trying to find us on Facebook. For some reason,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not.
on. I found it on Sean's page.
We have United
Oh, here it is. It just
United
popped up.
States, Germany, Canada, India, Russia, and Estonia tuned
We
in
have
over at Sci-Fi Radio.
We have Lori on Facebook.
Yay.
Woo!
The end.
The end. Right. That was it.
Man.
We're so
Yeah.
like so.
Oh.
Lori, we're here for you.
I see Eric.
Entirely for Lori. Well, it's too late, Eric. No, just kidding. Welcome, Eric.
Well, he's just not first.
I feel bad for Eric though because I promised to drop some cookies off at Eric's house
We forgot.
a couple days ago. I didn't. I'm sorry. Sean and I did a last minute, hey, let's go to the movies tonight thing, and and then yesterday I completely forgot and I did my sewing instead.
Yeah, we're just slacking. We did go see Godzilla, though, which was...
We did.
I'm glad we got to see it on a big screen. We were really sort of on the fence. Jeff and I were trying to make plans to go see it. And that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And we decided to, like, sort of last minute go down to see it in a reasonably sized theater. We didn't go in IMAX or anything. But we saw it with a reasonable screen, which was good. And I am glad that we got to see it on a big screen. Kind of it was both a fitting tribute to the early Godzilla movies and a good updating of them.
Yeah.
Because it still had like that old school cheesiness.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you know, the epic quotient was like really boosted.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I like that it was like
And no one
tail
got
end of
sick,
World
Kelly.
War II. Yeah.
No,
true.
no.
Made it through the whole time and no one got sick.
We tested and although sending your husband to the pub was like, come on. But yeah, we didn't go to any New Year's Eve parties or anything because we'd sort of been exposed to COVID and we were being very responsible, so we sort of canceled everything. And I got like clobbered New Year's Day. I was like ready for bed at 9:30, which is unheard of for me. That was crazy. I was just really beat. But neither of us got sick, which was great. Which means we didn't make anyone else sick, which is awesome.
That's good.
And I was worried after we did our zoo event because I didn't want to make anybody sick. So I'm like testing like mad and going like, make sure I'm not sick.
Yeah.
Although I do have the weed cough from being exposed to weed. But
California.
that's just how life is now, I guess, because so much weed everywhere. Our friend Bino, and I've seen this a couple other pages too, started a rant thread, where you could go and rant, and whatever you posted had to be in capital letters, And
Yeah, I got yelled at for not posting in capital letters.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even
'Cause it's
posting a rant. I was just commenting on someone else's
right,
rant.
right. And so like I ranted about traffic and stop making right turns from the far left lane and stop making left turns from the far right lane and one of them was stop smoking weed and driving.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Cuz that's why I've got this cough and that's just you're cheesing me off here.
Yeah.
And I haven't found like any kind of suitable repercussion yet that I can do. I mean, if there's
Yeah.
a cop around, because cops like to come look at my car when they're on motorcycles and stuff. And if there's a cop around, I can point him out and go, "Hey, check on that dude."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Smell the air." And they're like, "Oh, okay. I'll see you later." And I could do that. But yes, but this rant thread was really, really fun. See if you've got someone on your page who's doing it, or start one yourself, because people are just, whatever is in their craw, they're rah. And it's kind of a fun way to start the year and, be gripey about stuff, because everyone's allowed to be gripey in the thread, It's kind of cool.
I'm glad to be back, Laura.
So hey to Laura and Chris and Talonthorn and the lady A1066.
I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, me either. And we already had said hi to Eric and Lori and Kelly and hi to Alan.
Hey, Alan. Woo.
And I don't have YouTube open, so no word on YouTube.
Oh, well, let me look.
Nothing on YouTube.
'Cause I have
Alrighty.
before I go to look at YouTube, what I should do is show you guys the
That's
kind
it.
of awesome dinner that Colleen made for us.
There's nobody on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really push YouTube that much.
Oh, and Eric
see
says
here.
that I didn't even know that there's a Twitch email that goes out that says we're online, but apparently the Twitch email just showed
Oh, it
up
says-
saying we were online.
Oh, okay.
It says there's 2 people watching and we have 1 like on YouTube, but I'm like, no comments.
Oh,
Oh,
So, okay.
When,
Hey.
hi
guys.
yeah, when we start the stream, there's a message that I've filled out that goes to, I think it goes to Sci-Fi.radio, it goes to Discord, it goes to Twitch. It sort of like goes, "Hey guys, the show's on," which is kind of neat. Let's see. Here we go. This is what we have for dinner. This is
Rob.
what Colleen made.
so this is called Fire Melted Cheese Takeaway with Red Fruit Soup Dipper. And it is as served on the Halcyon at Galaxy's Edge before it closed. The one
Right.
in Florida.
The Galactic Star
This is
Cruiser.
way cheaper.
Way cheaper.
You didn't pay $5,000 for this meal?
I did not. It came out really well. It was fun. The waffle maker was like $20 online, and I used the Campbell's brand of red fruit soup dipper.
Did you add something to it?
No,
So it comes with the little red spots and stuff.
I
in
think
it?
that's just oil.
It just kills. I don't know.
It looked kind of cool. I thought you threw something in there.
No,
Like
It looks
oil,
different
you
than
know.
the usual tomato soup. I have.
I don't know.
Maybe it's an oil or something that's in the
Yeah.
soup. You know?
Maybe
Maybe it was also because it cooled for so long while it was waiting.
it
the,
was
the
a
long.
little cold.
My chicken
It's okay.
soup was so cold.
Yeah, same here.
Matter to me. That was fine.
Sorry. Well, Jeff, you got the first one, so
Yeah.
yours was,
It was
closest
like,
to being
it was
warm.
like kind of warm, but it was like fine
yeah,
with me though.
but then you had to add the waffles take about 5 minutes each to cook, and each person gets 2 waffles, so it takes 10
Yeah.
minutes while you're doing that. And I
Oh,
heated them
okay.
all at the beginning, the soup. So yeah, if I do this in the future, like if I did it for a party or something like
Yeah.
that, which I would love to do.
The future.
There is a recommendation for making them in advance and then reheating them.
Oh, okay.
So I think that would be good, and I'm sure that the chefs on the Halcyon have sharper edges.
Well, they have a
things
lot
like
more
that.
experience. So Colleen
Yeah.
had never used the bubble waffler until tonight. So this was, guinea pig time, but it was good. It came out really well.
Yeah, it was fun. And it's really fun. I belong to a group, and if you guys are into this, you should join this group too, on Facebook, called Galaxy's Edge and Star Cruiser Food and Drinks, paren, Foodie Batooties, close paren. That's the whole name of the thing.
Okay.
And basically, people are just trying to replicate. People who went on the Halcyon are just trying to replicate the recipes that they had there. And
Okay.
since we never had the opportunity to go,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, replicate those recipes so
totally.
that I can see them and then I can replicate them. And something that's super fun is
Yeah.
that earlier today, somebody posted over there what their version of a Star Wars afternoon tea would look like.
Oh, nice.
And they said using only official recipes. I think that I would change it up a little bit and offer things maybe slightly differently and do the courses a little differently. But what a fun idea!
Yeah.
For me, I don't know how
Like
you feel
afternoon
about
tea
tea.
kind of thing.
Sean
I mean,
doesn't
it
like
depends.
afternoon tea.
No, but
I guess it depends on the tea, but I like tea.
I don't like to drink tea. I don't mind being at a tea. I like tea food.
You usually decline to go to a tea. So.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what it is because, I'm just not that proper of a guy. We had suggested quite a while ago, and we talked about it on the show here, that we were going to do a Batu-barbecue, which is a barbecue Batu style. That is way more my speed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And because, I'm just not a pinkies out kind of a guy.
Oh, we have
Well,
to have tea.
I'm gonna have like a tea for the Star Wars ladies.
Yeah, we'll have to have tea though whenever they have the Dickens Fest thingy out there.
Oh,
around
right,
the
yeah, that
tea
is
there, 'cause
fun.
You'll be chimney sweeps drinking tea.
Yeah.
But see, that's a performance thing where you can get all sloppy with the
Yes.
food and annoying.
Yeah.
I don't think we got.
Hi, Chris.
I don't think we got that when it was Riverside last time. We didn't
Last
get any
time,
tea.
but then last year it was rained out. Last year.
Right. The last time we went, we didn't go
We did
to
not
tea.
do
No, I think we missed
We did.
the-
We
whatever
went to
they
tea
did.
when we went to Winterfest.
Yeah.
And they had the Dickens in
Yeah.
Winterfest.
Oh,
I'll
man.
have to look because
Yeah.
you'd think that there probably is a tea.
Yeah.
But it might be just that it's because Riverside Dickens is so much smaller than the San Francisco area Dickens, which
Yeah.
has like
I wonder.
4 seatings
Yeah.
of tea a day.
And I don't know, and I don't really know the size of it now because it moved. So
yeah,
what exactly that entails? So
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm sort of nervous about the whole thing.
Oh, happy anniversary, Chris! Awesome.
Happy anniversary.
Cool.
Hi, Liz.
All right, well,
my
I'll
goodness.
look into finding out whether Riverside Dickens has
They
a
might,
tea,
yeah.
and then
I'm really bummed. That what really is a sad thing. It's been years though. We only did it twice, but it was like the Dickens that was at Winterfest. That was really cool because it was winter.
yeah.
It was
Like,
really
oh.
great, and then they got booted.
So
Yeah,
Jeff,
such a bummer.
honestly, next year we'll have to go to Dickens in San Francisco because take the Riverside Dickens Fest and multiply it times
Like 10.
at least 10.
It's
And I'm not just
a
talking size
long-established
either.
Big
It's
deal.
like there are 3 or 4 different stages where they just do plays all day long.
Wow.
And they're different. Like one of the stages is supposed to be like where the Artful Dodger and all the people in that
Okay.
universe hang
Yeah.
out.
Right.
And then there's one that's just dancing, and there's one that's like big productions.
There's one theater with naughty silhouettes.
Yes,
Oh.
there is. I've never seen that though, but yes. And it's crowded and
And it's cold, so
You
you,
know
can
how-
bundle up in the Dickens
San
style
Francisco,
and not die
Well,
in the heat.
at Winterfest, it was not crowded at all. It was
No.
very sparsely
And it was,
attended.
and it was chilly. It was nice, chilly enough outside, and inside
Yeah.
it was warm, but not like boiling, so I was okay. But
In San Francisco, there is no outside. It is all inside.
Oh, okay.
But it feels like outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
AC's cranked up or something.
Well,
No,
they
it's
don't
like a
need to.
big empty
It's just a big
warehouse.
empty
Oh, okay,
warehouse.
okay.
But they've built the outside of Dickens, London,
Oh, okay.
inside, and it's really neat.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Cool.
It's not at the Cow Palace, is it?
Yeah, it's at the Cow Palace.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so-
that was still up. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll all plan to go next year. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
There is, in fact, a tea called Gerald Dickens tea. Oh no, this is 2023.
Yeah. I missed the one the one tea or thing that you folks put at the one time. I had to miss it because I was sick.
The Mary Poppins
Yeah.
picnic. Yeah, which we
That's a
made
bummer.
for you.
I know. I was so upset. I was like, oh,
Right.
Everybody's like, Colleen, where did you come up with the idea to do Mary Poppins? And I'm like, it was for Jeff, who's sick and can't be here.
so
I think it's funny that the Dickens Festival is like quoting Jane Austen. Like, really?
What?
Huh. Yeah, it's really strange.
Where's that?
It's on their page.
oh yeah.
Okay. I do not see that. So
Unless I'm
yeah.
on the wrong.
Which one?
The
yeah,
wrong
are you on the
page.
main page?
Well,
Yeah.
the Riverside one.
No.
Oh, okay. That's the other
Oh,
one.
San Francisco.
You're on the San Francisco one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And now we're all like
I
quiet
just-
because
I just-
we're all looking at the
Yeah, I
internet.
thought it was a
It's
really
like,
weird
okay.
thing to quote.
But yeah. But it's like one of the funniest things I've ever got to do was being a chimney sweep, running around.
Yeah.
And I was honestly
so much
surprised
fun.
more people didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's such a great sort of character to do.
My sorry.
You seem to have the
There it goes.
video.
I
open.
opened the San Francisco Dickens page and it overrode the block I had on the volume.
Oh.
That's weird.
And so
How rude.
it was started trying to play something from the Dickens page and it had all the stuff that we're talking about with a delay. And every time I hit my mute button, it just muted for like a second and then came back on.
Hi, Mella. Hi, Wester.
So that was wacky.
Hey, Wester. Woo.
Hey, Wester.
I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
Wester was our guide in Japan,
Oh, okay.
around Tokyo.
Nice.
And such an awesome guide that he basically looked at everybody in the group and said, "You like this, therefore we're going to this part of the city," which
It was really
like
fun.
really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
In my brief look at the San Francisco Dickens page, I saw two quotes from Dickens and none from Austen. So I don't know what you were looking at.
It was. I don't remember where I had gone.
Well, I
Oh,
can't go
it's-
back because
I'm on the-
it'll take over my
It's still
computer.
here on the FAQ page.
Audio will disappear again.
And
maybe
it
it was
says
the FAQ
it says
page.
indulge your imagination in every possible flight. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, which seems like a weird quote to have for
Dickens.
Dickens, yeah. But I'm amused that the Cow Palace is like trying to look all cool and spacey. With its
think
like spacey font across the front and all that kind of thing.
I
And,
went there for something a long time ago, and I don't
well, I mean, it's a
remember what the hell
pretty
it was.
cool.
I went there for
concert venue.
Dickens when I was 12.
Okay. It was like
think it was
either a
12.
concert or something. I can't remember what the hell it was, but yeah,
Oh.
I think it might have been like actually like wrestling or something. I don't know. Long time ago.
Come to the garden often. Wrestling, the circus. I think I've only seen one concert in the San Francisco area, and it was at Great America,
Oh wow!
and it was
Really?
Berlin. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It was a very very long time ago.
Wow.
It was cool though. It was pretty wicked. And we were at Great America, which was also cool because I loves me a theme park.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this would be fun to go to. And honestly, we keep talking about taking a San Francisco trip and like checking stuff up out there, like going to the Disney Family Museum and things like that, going to Rancho Obi-Wan as part of the show, and like, you know, going up and touring these places and reporting to you guys on them and things like that. And so, I mean, we could easily do that around Dickens' time, and, you know, add a few other cool places to stop and
the
check out.
Winchester Mystery House.
Which you say you've never been to.
Yep.
Yeah, and
All right, we're doing
I was
it.
born up there.
Kelly's going to
Never
come
went
with
there.
us too.
well, and we kept trying to go. Jeff and I went to San Jose
Yeah.
off and on for like, I don't know, 6 months or something.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
We were doing that Star Wars exhibit up there at the Tech
Yeah.
Museum, and we're like, we have to stop at the Winchester. We've got to do that, and we just never made it happen.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened. We just couldn't get the extra day or something.
No, I mean, because
go.
I think it had to do with the time of the event and the time that Winchester was open for.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah,
didn't work.
because we would have had to have like done it on the way there, and we just couldn't get there in time, and it was kind of nuts. But we tried. We certainly talked about it a lot. But I think that it'd be fun if you've never ever been there. It's a cool place to go.
All right, I'm blocking out a weekend on the calendar.
Ooh, a Jekyll and Hyde puzzle pub crawl. It's only $65 a person.
Yikes.
Well, okay then. So hey, now that
Hey,
we've just
hey.
been randomly chatting,
Yeah, happens.
what say you all about what you did in the past week?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. We went. Let's see here. We went to Knott's. Before, I think it was on Saturday. I think we went to Knott's on Saturday, and just basically just went around to see all the the decor and whatnot, and I went on like a ride or two. I think I passed up, not very many, and just kind of, it was early in the morning, right around when they opened, so we'd go around and get some food, and see everything there, and see all the Mary Farm market, as it were. The people
that
that come
would
in,
be fun.
you know, they have all the little stands of people that
Yeah.
come in, and they do that also at during the Boysenberry Festival too. They have a market,
Boysenberry.
and special foods and all that kind of thing. The bummer about the Mary Farm is that they only did it 1 year, and they never brought it back that I know of.
It's like the Jingle Cruise at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what
in-
the heck?
So in the summertime, they have Ghost Town Alive,
Uh-huh.
and it's all the actors and go around, do all these little tasks and do stuff there, and all and such.
Uh-huh.
They did that 1 year, sort of, but it was for Christmas. But it wasn't really like do tasks and everything. You'd go on the train, and then like someone from that time period would come in, and they'd sit down next to you and talk to you, and and you go around there. So a lot of actors there, just not the same thing. It was all, but it was Christmas. They only did it in 1 freaking year.
So, so
bring
for
that back.
Christmas they were just hanging out, whereas for Ghost Town Alive they had specific jobs that they were doing.
Well, they had
Yeah.
stories to involve you in,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, stories,
Yeah.
and you had
Oh,
tasks.
they had things for you to do.
Yeah, and you had tasks
Okay.
to complete. You'd
Interesting.
go and take things to the post office, or you'd go off and do this, or go.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
Find the bank robber.
and so I don't know what all they did during the winter time. The Mary Farm one that they did. I just remember getting on the train, and I don't know what we were doing, but we got on the train to take it. And which I wish was a train that had destinations instead of just a loop. But they would come in, and the one lady came in and sat down, and she was dressed in the time period and was discussing, talking to us where we were from and what we were doing for Christmas and what we were.
How
It
fun.
was really cool. She stayed in character the whole time.
You didn't talk to a barbed wire salesman?
But that was many years ago. They haven't done it since. But Knott's was pretty fun. Yeah.
I just got that.
Yeah, I know. No barbed wire. No puppy dog guys. So yeah, it was. I like Knott's and stuff. I just wish they would do more of that. Can bring that back for winter or for Mary Farm. And of course you can go in until the 7th, I think. You can go in there and go see, Snoopy Claus, because Santa's not in there right now.
Mm-hmm. Santa's
in the
tired,
barn.
so.
Yeah. And then other than that was Sparrow and Christina's birthday the other day, so
Wow.
or yesterday, and there was some cake, and a few presents, but yeah.
Sorry I didn't play anything on my show. I didn't understand quite what you were doing because you post stuff all the time, and I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of things that I can't figure out what the connection is. And then I looked at my phone, and Jeff's like, oh, these are the songs that Sparrow and
it was
Christina
like
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the Facebook Messenger thing you didn't see that
I
time.
did not see it. Yeah.
He almost never sees Facebook Messenger during his show.
When I'm doing the show, it's almost only Discord. Yeah. So.
But in any case, it was still fun. They came over. A few of the kids came over. And,
awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Excellent.
I have to open my calendar because I always forget what was happening. I guess it was New Year's, wasn't it?
It was New Year's, which we did nothing
So
for.
Kelly asked me if I did
pretty
any
much.
sewing. I did. I got Sean and I matching pajamas because we're that type of couple for Christmas, and they were the Star Wars Christmas pajamas. And even though they were matching, I got Sean the unisex version, and I got the ladies version.
Okay.
And his had pockets and mine didn't.
Oh, what the heck?
Right. I mean,
So-
what the hell is wrong with them? It's
Doesn't
like,
make any sense.
just put pockets in all of them.
Yeah. So I sewed a pocket to my pajamas because that was making me mad.
Oh.
So I got that sewing done, and then
And it's a nice pocket, too. It looks like she stole it from another pair of pajamas.
I did.
And sewed it
I
on.
made an exterior pocket. I was going to make an interior pocket, but there wasn't really enough
And it's
space.
got a little trim on it. It's very fancy.
Yeah. And then I put on the mock-up that I have for my 18th century bodice, and I fixed my bum pad by replacing the tie string on it because the tie string that I put on it was too big and it was making my waist bigger. With the clothes in the late 18th century, most of them had anything that fit around your waist was done with ties.
Yeah.
And you end up, because you've got a lot of layers, you end up with a lot of different ties. And so using a thicker, like a wider tie made everything thicker, and it wasn't working for me.
Okay.
And then I also modified them because I made them too wide. And so I had to sew those a little tighter. And then I played with the straps, fitting the straps several times, finally realized that I was taking the straps up in the wrong location.
Oh.
And so I redid those, and I made a larger sleeve pattern, and now I need to do another fitting to see where I am. I think, fingers crossed, I should be able to, as a next step, do the actual sewing, cutting of my fashion fabric.
Wow.
And I realized that I didn't have anything for lining fabric, so today I ordered lining fabric to go in that. So I'm excited to get that done.
Cool.
And yes, the pad does make my butt look big.
Eh.
Woohoo!
Oh, that works.
And then, we stayed home. I baked cranberry bliss bars like they have at Starbucks. I made cranberry coffee cake, and I made peppermint cocoa cookies.
Okay.
So they're cocoa cookies with marshmallows and peppermint candy on top.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much what I did up until the point when I had to go back to work, and then after I went back to work, we ran out to go see Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
So we should probably review Godzilla Minus One without spoiling things because it's still in the theater.
Yeah.
Definitely. I went to Disneyland last night,
Oh, you want to talk about that?
which was fun. Yeah, just real briefly, because I went to have sort of a quick visit, and of course, because of the blockout dates, it was the first chance I had to get back in over the 2 weeks that they don't let you in if you have a Magic Key pass. And it was, traffic wasn't too bad getting out there, and it was not horrifyingly crowded, although my timing was poor. I worked on some other projects before I left, and so I got there. I think I walked into the park at 5 o'clock, and I think it was exactly when they were doing the holiday parade still. I'm come on, guys.
Until Sunday.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so I had that song in my head all day. So I went in, and I went into Galaxy's Edge to go check stuff out, and I ran into one of the guys from the Galaxy's Edge Discord group that I know, who also organizes the lightsaber meetups.
Okay.
And he goes by Shark in a Jar. And so we were talking to management because there's an event coming up that's Ahsoka Tano Day. So over in Walt Disney World, where Ashley Eckstein lives now in Florida. She and her husband moved back to Florida, which is where they were when they met, and they're from there. And she used to work at Walt Disney World. And so they do Ahsoka Tano Day over there. And she's actually there a lot hanging out because she's a goofball. But so she's going to do Ahsoka Tano Day there, and then she's going to fly out here and do it at Disneyland the next day.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. So I think it's the 28th of this month.
Cool.
And I wish I could remember his real name, but Shark in a Jar was talking to management, going, "We're going to have a whole bunch of people, and it's going to be kind of crazy, and
Oh dear.
that kind of thing." And I did get to talk to him about not doing lightsaber meetups on Life Day anymore.
Okay.
Which was really great. And he's like, "Yeah, that didn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, let's please never do that again," because the lightsaber people just add into Life Day anyway.
Yeah.
We don't need a special meetup or anything for it.
Yeah,
It's just,
exactly.
And the only complaints I've heard about Life Day were from cast members who said the lightsaber thing really messed us up. We love Life Day. We get to participate in Life Day. And then all of a sudden the lightsaber thing made it so that we had to work a lot to do it. So they were disappointed in that. But talking to some of management in Galaxy's Edge, no backlash on the crowd of Life Day and all that kind of stuff. I mean, everything is apparently still cool.
Cool.
I thought, we had such a high capacity that they were, going to come back with, hey, can you maybe lighten that up a little bit?
No, I think there are maybe some stressed out cast members here and there, but that's about it.
There were, because it was a Friday night, and we didn't get the weekend cast members. And the weekend cast members, I think, are used to dealing with a big, larger crowd.
Probably, yeah.
And in fact, what was funny is that right after Life Day, I went back, and there were some photo ops going on with a character right where we do the caroling, and there was an equally large crowd right there of everybody trying to get their picture with Mando or Chewie or whoever it was.
Nice.
It was kind of nuts. So I'm like, okay, well, so we weren't that off base.
Cool.
And that was right. So it was good to get clarification of that. So there was a guy coming from Chicago who's part of the lightsaber Discord group that Shark was meeting up with, and they brought these insane custom lightsabers, like $1,500 to $2,000, that did every possible thing that you could do in a lightsaber. It had all the bells and whistles. And Tim from Chicago, who goes by, I think he goes by Dual Sabers.
Yeah.
He basically buys lots of parts and just kit bashes lightsabers together. And so he brought 3 or 4 of his own, and he had a bunch of things, and he sort of ditched his family to come over to Galaxy's Edge to show off his lightsabers.
Yes.
And to meet up with Shark. And some of these things were crazy. Like one of the sabers was based on Blade Runner 2049 and was like etched with all sorts of Blade Runner stuff in it. Had a very different look.
Okay.
One of them was a Zweihander, which is it's a two-handed German broadsword.
Okay.
So it was like a lightsaber meant as a broadsword, which was kind of crazy. And so it was really interesting to get a crash course from these guys about the current state of lightsaber technology, whose sabers do what, and what. Because I want to get a really nice lightsaber, and learning what to avoid, who to avoid, and which are the easiest ones to program and to build yourself if you want to do it. It was really very fun, and so I spent way more time at Disneyland than I expected. I got back well after midnight.
Oh dear.
I think I sent a note to Colleen at about 10 to midnight, going, "I'm on my way," because our deal is that I let her know before midnight where I'm at and what's going on, so that if she goes to bed, she's not like worried about anything. And so yeah, we really had a lot of fun talking about that, and I went on Star Tours because it was like a 5-minute ride, which was funny. And finally, you've heard me talk about this on the show. After months and months and months and months of trying to find Jeff the Indiana Jones shirt,
Yeah.
found it, got it, bought it, came home, discovered the security tag is still on it.
Yeah.
Which explains why, when I walked out of the Star Trader, the alarm went off.
Yeah.
And I actually turned to Shark and I'm like, what did you do? Because the alarm was going off. Turned out to be me.
Yeah. I mean, does the ink stuff like come out only if you try to take it off?
Yeah.
I see.
If you try
Not if you walk outside.
Basically,
with it.
it's like a tube with ink in it, and it leaks out if you try to break it.
Gotcha.
And so that's the deal. Because usually I'm pretty good at removing these things with magnets and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is one with an ink cartridge. And Colleen and I are going back on Sunday, so we can take it back. I just felt really bad because I was going to hand it off to Jeff. And this is the culmination of a really long period of time of trying to get it.
They were out forever.
Yeah, and they finally got the large one. But at least we have it. And so even if they have run out by the time we go back on Sunday, we have one.
Yeah.
In hand. And so, as long as they don't give us grief about showing up with a receipt going, "Please take this off," because I mean, honestly, they could think we just grabbed one off the rack and walked over and went, "Hey, can you take off this thing?" So, yeah, it's weird. But at least we managed to get one for you, so.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, it was a nice day. And like I said, the company was good enough that I ended up staying longer than I expected. And then I ran into a bunch of 501st guys, Jeremy and John A. Cafe and the Borings, and our Vader, who's Brian Hazelrig.
Okay.
And so they were on their way to Haunted Mansion because there was like a 45-minute wait or something, and it's still Christmas, and they're trying to get it in before they change it back to the regular. And apparently Haunted Mansion is going to be closed longer than normal.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take down the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, and then they're going to put it into refurb mode.
Well, and they're going to build that
all the
outdoor
stuff.
area with the new shop, right?
Yeah,
the
but
gardens and shop area.
I feel like that's a thing that they can still leave the ride open for.
Yeah, probably.
For the most part, especially,
but it's even longer set job though.
But it takes like a month to take down all the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
And they could do whatever construction they need to do when the ride's already shut down for a month, I think. So I'd be surprised if the little gift shop at the exit is the thing that keeps it closed for more than a month.
Ah.
So, but anyway, we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a they're putting, we talked about this last week, I think that they're putting Pirates of the Caribbean on GD Plus because of the rides in the area that are closing down.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to make it easier to get into Pirates because you're not going to be able to do Haunted Mansion and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the Splash.
Yeah, so we shall see how that works out.
So we were going
Gojira.
to talk about Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'd like to say that I told Sean I would go because I felt bad that he wasn't able to go see it with Jeff.
She was very much
and
on the
I
fence.
thought, I'm probably going to hate this movie. Forgot to bring my earplugs, which really had me nervous because I don't like movies with loud noises.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, they didn't have the sound jacked, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And,
Subtitles?
did we already see what Eric said about the Haunted Mansion? Did we mention that?
Yeah. I know we didn't say
That
that.
they're installing a handicapped exit for the ride, including an elevator.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so it's going to be closed for most of the year because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard that at all.
So
Yeah.
they're doing a lot of stuff.
Well,
to it.
Eric
Yeah.
is plugged in.
Apparently,
so
man,
he knows all this stuff. Anyway, didn't want to go see Godzilla -1, but I was like, I'm going to take one for the team. This is what marriage is all about, man. Going to see the movie
Is
that you
it?
didn't want to see.
Gotcha.
Well, you know.
I admit I've gone to a few chick flicks.
Yeah.
That,
And I was surprised it was much better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I felt that the movie was very much in the vein of Jaws.
Yeah.
As far as like a mix between being heartfelt and, it was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. To a point.
So
yeah.
it had the scariness, but it wasn't more scary than Jaws was. So it wasn't horrifying or anything like that. And it also was thoughtful and had emotional scenes that I didn't think I would have.
Yeah.
And also, it was set in the immediate aftermath of World War II.
Yes.
And so there were just a very few really good costumes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also nice seeing the different things that people in Japan were wearing as opposed to what we're used to seeing, which is American and European
Yeah.
clothing. There was at one point when a character was wearing something that was more European or American, and that was also really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were questions that I had because I don't think I've actually seen a Godzilla movie before.
Oh,
and if I
okay.
have, it was like I was in the room when it was on, not
Okay.
that I was watching it. And so there were things that happened in the movie that I had to ask Sean later. Is this like a traditional Godzilla thing? It seemed like it was a modern thing. Because I've never seen in all the images that I've seen of Godzilla. So they
Okay.
did do some modernizing
Yeah.
of Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean,
the
you know,
biggest complaint was that his head was too small
Oh,
for some
yeah,
people.
I heard a lot of
Yes.
people say that.
No, it looked fine to me.
I thought it was okay. And
Yeah.
the thing that you have to understand about Godzilla back in the old days is that the only reason his head was gigantic was because there was a human head in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
just a guy in a suit.
and now that he's sort of computer generated, they've streamlined him a little bit. And after
Yeah.
some research, because I'm like, man, he's huge. Was he
Yeah.
really that huge? And his scale is correct to the
Yeah.
original Godzilla. He's
Yep.
exactly the same height, which is like 146 feet or something. It's like 50 meters.
Yeah.
And
There was a lot to him that was more to what the character would look like without a person being in the suit.
right,
Yeah.
which I appreciated too. And they could do some interesting things with him that they couldn't do with a guy in the suit.
Yeah.
Which like his various power ups and things like that. Which was funny because I've been looking at the toys at Target and I'm like, why does he glow blue like that? I don't understand what's going on. And then you see the movie and you're like, oh
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I liked the fact that it's like the guy that writer, director, and visual effects, from the movie is all by the same person. I liked Godzilla. The only thing that I found kind of weird was sometimes and this isn't really spoilery, I guess, but sometimes when
The movie's been
walking,
out for more than a month.
Yeah.
We can be spoilery.
Yeah, this isn't really even a spoiler, really, but it's like sometimes his walk cycle in some spots look kind of a little more robotic than it should,
Right.
to me. But otherwise, everything was great how he did it.
Well, and it was probably not motion capture or anything. It was probably
Yeah, I
like
don't know. I don't
keyframe
think
animation.
it was. Yeah.
And
It's just, it's all CG.
yeah.
And it's like the whole thing was the entire movie is except for parts of it because it's supposed to be certain parts of it are in English because they're supposed to be for the scene. It's all subtitled.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and it's just really hard. And like and Sparrow, was it affected Sparrow a lot. She was very crying in a couple scenes.
It was.
Yeah.
So, I feel like going to the Hiroshima Museum made me
Yeah.
connect more deeply with the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just this vague sort of, oh, well, I know that Godzilla is supposed to represent nuclear war.
Yeah.
It, like, I understood it more viscerally after having
Yeah.
visited that museum.
And I think it was better
totally.
illustrated in this movie than it
Yes.
ever has been in
Yeah.
the past.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
really kind of
It gives you a better idea why he exists and how it happened and everything. A little
Right.
better.
Yeah.
And even though it's really brief, they don't spend a lot of time dwelling
Yeah.
on it. And then his powers make a lot more sense,
And it's not
understanding
like-
that he came from
Yeah.
nuclear
And
blast.
it's not like shining a light on the entire thing either. It's like just going up. There you go. Story element. Go by.
But having been in Japan, really made a huge difference because we'd seen some of the older sections of the country, and we kind of got a feeling for how some of these things were, and they showed a lot of devastation in the country and
Yeah.
people living amongst the destroyed buildings and things like that. And we had been in some of the smaller towns that had that kind of vibe to it, that you could like identify bits of and could see how they would look like that after bombing and things like that. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
it also, having read a lot of in the museum in Hiroshima, they spend a lot of time showing you photos of all sorts of clothing and actual things that were left from,
a lot of artifacts,
Yeah.
and clothing
and a lot
that
of
survived.
letters that describes what's happening, and
Yeah.
it really, like, I don't think I would have had such a visceral reaction to this had I not been to Hiroshima. I
okay.
still would have enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but I just felt like the connection was a lot more. I understood it a lot more
Gotcha.
than I might
Yeah.
otherwise have.
And one of the things that this movie did, I think, really well is it was less of the military attack and more of the community being involved
saw
in
that.
dealing with it.
Yeah. Sorry, we're having somebody in our Twitch chat
Bot
who's
popped in.
yeah,
Yeah.
a naughty bot.
Yeah, it's
Naughty
got-
bot.
Down you go,
Yeah.
Bot.
Okay, you got it, Jeff. You
No,
got-
I don't have. I can't. I don't have the function to do it.
Oh, I'll
It's
get
either
it.
Kit or Sean has to
Okay.
get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
What I liked, of course, for Godzilla movies, at least recently, I'll give Shin Godzilla this is that the acting was actually really good, and so this movie as well, the acting was actually really, was really good movies, and for Toho, usually. It's really not usually. So for it's usually kind of really ham-fisted and goofy and whatever and whatnot, and so this was so so much more serious and
And the acting
dramatic.
was well done.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
I mean. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But as Sean said, you still had that feeling of the cheesy early 1950, late 1940, like sort of, this is a Godzilla movie. Like the acting was better, but it still
guess.
had like an air sort of that.
I mean, I guess because it's Godzilla, but I didn't really feel a lot of cheesiness about it. I mean, but
It was
it's
just
me.
enough for continuity's sake.
But
It looked like enough like there was a guy in a rubber costume but without like really dwelling on it. It's like
yeah.
you could see it that was the origin of it, and it as opposed to just making it look like all CG, awesomeness. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. But I enjoyed this. It's like, so, I mean, I love the original non-Raymond Burr Gojira. And the latest, the new Godzilla from the American version, the first one with Bryan Cranston and
The
whatnot.
one with Tadao in it?
Is he in it? Is Tadao in that one?
Is that the one Tadao's in, Sean?
Yeah, I think so.
He was in the one.
Oh no!
What's the one with
You're-
Matthew Broderick?
No, you're
good
thinking of you're thinking of Inspector Gadget,
Okay.
Oh.
where he was being chased by Inspector Gadget as Godzilla.
Okay,
Was
okay.
it-
I thought it was
That's
actually
totally
a
no,
different
he
movie.
was. That was the joke.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was
So,
that,
and I like those, but I think, I like this a lot. I think this is probably my, if I go through all the Godzilla movies, even including the American versions, I think this one to me is the top of them, is my favorite ones that they've made.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I've-
mine
and
too.
I've seen basically every Godzilla movie ever made. So I mean,
Wow.
this is probably, I think this is my favorite one.
Nice. Yeah.
Because it was not treated like cheesy, and it wasn't treated as, hey, we're going to we're making a comment about the political Congress situation that Japan does and use it as a joke. It didn't have that factor. It was very serious, and I was like, oh, this good. I was happy with it.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we went to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm also happy, like, if I had to choose, because originally our plan was to go either on Christmas or New Year's and go see both Wonka and Godzilla Minus One. And
we did neither.
just we never even got dressed
Right.
on Christmas
Oh,
Day.
dear.
We just stayed
Yeah.
in
Pretty lame.
pajamas for 48 hours or something like that.
Okay.
So
And
I was glad that we went to see Godzilla over Wonka, although I hear that's better than people expected as well.
Wow.
And so we're not talking about spoilers at all for the movie.
I mean, we
Are
can't,
you asking?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we can if we just tell them that, hey, folks, we're going to do
I mean,
spoilers,
I didn't have
but
anything
I didn't
spoilery
really-
to say.
Okay. I did, but we can talk about it offline, and they don't have to hear it. I was just curious to discuss part of the ending,
Oh,
but we can
okay.
talk about that later.
And I do love the
I
fact...
never know what to do with spoilers because the
Yeah.
movie's been out for more than
Yeah.
a month.
I will say that in this case, because it's a smaller movie and it's really word of mouth is what's making
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, people are still going.
People are still going.
and that's
yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
is that my Facebook feed is like, well, okay, I went to go see it last
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
and like in the past couple days, I've seen like 10 or 15 people who went to go see it, and I don't want to ruin it for
Yeah, yeah,
anybody
yeah.
because it's great to discover that kind of thing
Yeah, totally.
for yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about it offline because
Yeah.
there's something
Yeah,
I want
let's-
to talk about the ending.
There's
Let's do that.
there are aspects of this that they were basically also were in the original film, the original 53, I think, I can't remember the film, that they duplicated in this as well. So I thought that was like a nice touch, So I was pretty happy to see a lot of that kind of stuff coming into it. Yeah.
One of, and this is completely stupid, but one of like the most emotional moments in the whole movie was when the theme finally kicked in
Oh, geez, yeah.
and it was used properly.
Yeah.
Because the Godzilla theme, everybody's like, oh, it's the theme for Godzilla. It is not the theme for Godzilla. It
Yeah.
is the theme for the people who are defending against Godzilla.
Yes, yes.
And it was used perfectly.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, what was it?
Yeah.
I'm going, oh my God, it worked. Oh, it was so, yeah.
And they,
so well
they,
done. So
like,
well done.
they teased it enough so that by the time you got there, you're like, yes, it's finally here.
Yeah, yeah.
They did the thing.
And I think without spoiling what the ending is, the the battle itself, I'm gonna have to say that Godzilla minus one, for me personally, was very similar to Speed Racer. In that Speed Racer was way better than I thought it was going to be. And that I thought, how am I going to sit through a movie with a stupid car chase and not claw my eyeballs out?
Yeah.
Which is, claw my eyeballs out was how I felt after I saw that Australian road.
Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury
Mad
Road.
Max Fury Road.
That
Yeah.
they got halfway through that movie and they're like, and now we have to turn around and go back. And I'm like, no, please don't go back.
If we don't
Just
show you every step of
die.
the way,
Please, just
you won't believe it
Right.
happened.
But Speed Racer had not just one race, they had 3 races.
Yeah.
And each of them was different.
Yeah.
And each of them was interesting and exciting.
Yeah.
and better than
I was stunned by that.
it was better than like the pod. It was what the pod racing was supposed to be.
Oh, the
Yeah,
pod
yeah.
racing was
in
so
Star
boring.
Wars, because you're just like,
Yeah,
bleh.
they
Yeah.
just did the same thing over and over.
Right,
again.
and
And
it's like,
that's what I thought Speed Racer was going to be. I'm like, I'm going to
Yeah.
have to sit through this. And that was the same thing, like with Godzilla.
Yeah.
When they got down to the fighting, it didn't lose me
Yeah.
in the fighting. And that's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because, like Fury Road, I don't want to watch people drive for 2 hours.
I when I saw trailers for this, and even teasers and photos or whatever else they have showing, and even the idea of the time period they're going to go with, I was already excited to see it. I was
Right.
like, okay. Then I saw trailers. I'm like, oh my god! I was like, already, this is going to be amazing. And it's like, and it's even, it blew away those expectations even more, because I was like, I already felt it was going to be good, and it was even better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Having grown up with Godzilla movies,
Yeah.
it really could have kind of gone either way. And I'm throwing up a picture here of like every incarnation of Godzilla.
Yes.
Just across the 1954 to like present day.
Yeah.
And
He had some goofy looks over the years, I'll tell you that.
oh, he got ridiculous.
Yeah.
And introducing like the spawn of Godzilla and all that kind of craziness.
geez,
I mean,
yeah.
it just got kind of weird. But I really just like how personal the whole story was.
Yeah.
And how you've got a character that you follow
Yeah.
that has experienced this firsthand, and like, it's maybe one of the best character arcs I think I've ever seen in a kaiju movie.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
wow, it was really kind of impressive.
I think if people are expecting the typical, Godzilla comes out and fights another big monster or something, and is goofy, and the people's story is like pointless,
Right.
and over there, then I guess if they really want that, they'll be disappointed. But that's not what you should have in a film. I mean, even the American version with Cranston, like, the acting was great, and so their story, although some parts of it weren't as 3-dimensional and everything as it could be, was still enjoyable, even though Godzilla was barely in the movie. This one, he's in a lot, but this one, the characters all have, every character basically has a story arc. They're all 3-dimensional. You care about all of them. So that's, I guess you care about Godzilla. I don't know, but
Well, but you're not
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
care about Godzilla per se.
yeah, unless
You're-
it's one of the kiddie ones, but it's Godzilla.
he's the
Godzilla,
adversary
Godzilla.
in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
in the
he
film.
was
Yeah.
the bad guy.
Yeah, he was a bad guy for like 4 movies, and then they became the good guy.
I mean,
way back when.
it's not Godzilla's fault
Yeah,
that he's Godzilla. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like he made himself that way or
Sean's
whatever.
huge.
But he's the thing that humanity has to defend itself against.
yeah,
Now, was it you that said this movie was an apology for Shin Godzilla?
yes, I think so.
I didn't see it. Was it like really that bad?
Okay, Shin Godzilla. The director, obviously, from what I can tell, what he wanted to do was make a statement, and his statement was about the the pointless bureaucracy behind getting anything done in the Japanese government, like that everything takes forever and over and it's sometimes redundant and everything.
Right.
So that the entire film, they would keep going back because Godzilla's attacking. What do we do? Well, let's go to a committee and can discuss it. And they just kept going back and back and back. And for me, what irritated me is that it was like they're beating a dead horse, because it was like, okay, 2 times, 3 times, I'll allow it, but they kept going. And I was like, by the end of the movie, I was so mad. I was like, this is not how I should feel leaving a Godzilla movie. I shouldn't be angry because they decided to keep going back and back and back.
I shouldn't feel ripped off.
Yeah. And the 2 points is, the other part that upset me about it was like, not that they introduced Godzilla and he kept changing through the movie. He was like, he is becoming new form, his final form, new form, final form. You know, he like evolved through the film. Part of it, at one point, I kid you not, he had Cookie Monster googly eyes. They rotate, they bobble around and everything. I was like, are you kidding me?
That was like the 2000 SUX commercial.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here real quick and let you guys know that you are listening to sci-fi.radio. It is sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. We're here 24/7 doing cool, nerdy, fun stuff. Lots of shows with live DJs and stuff. And then, of course, we've got nerd music going on. And go to sci-fi.radio. That's the main web page. We've got a bunch of news stories. And also our schedule is posted up there. So you can look and see what kind of shows you want to listen to and see if there's anything that tickles you. And wherever you happen to be in the world, the schedule will adjust to your time zone. So you'll know exactly what time in your area to tune in for stuff. You don't even have to do the math, which is great. You could be watching us on YouTube or on Twitch or on Facebook. Any of those things is perfectly acceptable. I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
This is Jeff Soledado.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
Boba-Kit Sovine puts together our show document and does all of our DB94 social media links and stuff on the page during the week. So if you see something over there that you think is really funny and that you share and was really cool, well, that's Kit posting that up over there. And if you haven't liked that page or whatnot, you should go check it out, because she does. She's pretty busy over there. So go check it out and see.
Yeah. So the first part was the googly eyes. The second part that bugged me was their use of the monster du jour, which was like Stranger Things, Super 8, so many other monsters, where they decided to make Godzilla a flower face monster. So instead of him opening like this, he went open like this. So like a flower petal, all 4
like
parts.
In Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then his fire wasn't a fire; it was just a laser beam.
All right, I have a picture here
it was so bad.
Stage 1, googly-eyed Shin Godzilla.
Got him there. See, see. Oh
now, to be fair, our turtle occasionally gets the same expression.
Yeah.
But it's nothing you want to see in your kaiju.
Oh my god.
That's
so it was thoroughly. It was just disappointing as all heck. I mean, so my pet peeve for movies when I'm watching a movie, and I probably have a few, but my biggest pet peeve is them repeating something over and over again because I think the audience is a bunch of morons.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, one instance of that, and I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Okay. But I didn't need to be told numerous times that if the Weasels are going to laugh themselves to death like their idiot hyena cousins. I was like, okay, I get it. Move on.
Stop telling us that.
Yeah. That's what they did with Shin Godzilla with those little committee things. It just kept going back and back and back. I'm like, okay, enough. Yeah.
That's too bad.
It was funny a couple times. It's not funny anymore.
There's a whole Reddit post here. What is with Shin Godzilla's eyes?
Yeah. See? It was just, But you know, to their credit though, yeah, the acting was really good in Shin Godzilla. So at least it had that, you know, and he was in his final form was pretty creepy, although he had these really really tiny, skinny, spindly arms, like a T-Rex, I guess. But yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah. So this was the apology. This new one for me.
Well, I mean, it was pretty amazing, and I gotta say that if they do come out with a sequel in this timeline, I'm in.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good, and although I assume it is largely supposed to lead into 1954's movie.
I mean, not really. I mean, in a sense it does. It's a reboot, so to speak. So it does.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's taking place earlier.
Yeah.
Than the 1954
so,
movie.
It couldn't really do that. Maybe it could follow Godzilla raids again, but
I don't know. I'm really missing Perry Mason.
Yeah. But the director has said that if he was able to make a sequel, if he's able to do one, that he would want to follow the same found family.
Yeah.
And what happens with them.
Sure.
So if it happens, then that's probably who we'll see as the humans. So as of this.
Well, let's move on to Star Wars.
Certainly.
Jeff, you want to be our Star Wars guy?
Sure. Born on January 4th, 1923, was Chick Stone. Chick Stone was worked for a variety of comic companies, from Marvel to DC and whatnot. And he did penciling. A lot of his work was inking, actually, moreover than penciling. So he did a long run with like Jack Kirby, and so it made Jack Kirby's pencils look amazing. But what he worked on for Star Wars, of course, was the 70s run of the Star Wars at Marvel. Yeah. So just worked on those, and then there's like I guess it's like it says Volume 3. I think this is just a compilation book. It says there, but yeah, he was basically primarily just an inker for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he did relatively little work on the Star Wars Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
But still good to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. But he worked in comics a long time. Yeah. Okay. History portion. Sorry, burp, too much coffee. January 5th, 2005 is when Vanity Fair covers had all the Star Wars films with a fold-out cover for all 6 movies. Pretty darn cool, actually. January 1st, 2007, that's when Star Wars was in the Rose Parade.
Woo!
Did you guys know that?
Cannot
I can't
believe
it's surprising
that
people
was 17 years ago already.
What?
Crazy. Like, why are we old now? How did that happen? I didn't sign up for that. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. A lot of people on Facebook reliving that day quite a bit, and it was it took a long way to get there. It really is, for Star Wars costume fans, as far as that goes. It's really a sort of a milestone kind of thing, and I apologize to anybody who's heard me tell the story about being in the Rose Parade one too many times. So I had a 501st guy get mad at me. He's always talking about the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that guy needed to be slapped back then.
Well, and he was always talking about being on stage with Dave Filoni.
Yeah, so
everybody's got their thing. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to do it. January 3rd, 2014. That's when Lucasfilm Limited and Marvel Entertainment made a deal to make more Star Wars comics and novels. They came back
Star Wars.
I came back from doing primarily at Dark Horse for a while, and I believe they're still doing stuff at Dark Horse, just little things, and like IDW little things, but primarily it's all Marvel. There you go.
Apparently, someone pitched the idea of doing a Marvel What If where the Marvel characters go into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And that was rejected.
Crossing the street.
And he never really says in this that I read, like, what exactly the crossover was going to be. You know?
I feel like since it's superhero hype, that it's kind of like somebody mentioned it offhand at a party.
Well, actually, so it's an interview. The
Yeah,
article's
it's
an
an
interview.
interview.
Oh, is it?
And so, yeah, so like there's a portion that says that they actually snuck a TIE fighter
Yes.
into the one where T'Challa was Star-Lord
Yeah, the
and
what
things
if-
like
what if.
that. But he also said that Disney's people are eagle-eyed and they spot it all
Yeah.
and they tell you to pull it out. And so if like in the case of the TIE fighter, I think they missed it.
And it's kind of in a blur of sorts, like
Right,
a blur
it's
image. So
like
it's
you have
really
to
hard
know
to
it's
spot.
there. It's like the sneaker that's in the ship battle in Return of the Jedi. It's like you have to know where the shoe is
Yeah.
to be able to see it, or the potato in the
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back asteroid field. So I mean, this is got a long history of that kind of thing. But I mean, I could see where Disney wouldn't want to cross the streams on the universe.
Yeah.
Just keep them separate.
No, you don't need to. I mean, you already
Yeah,
had
it-
ET.
It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
crossed over. Yeah.
Yeah, good
I'm
luck on
gonna
this one.
murder this man. You guys know that I'm horrible with names. Charmine Obaid Chinoy
I
Yeah. Good
think
luck.
that's correct. Yeah.
says the new Ray movie is very special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's directing it.
I have a rant on this,
Uh-oh.
and it's a rant.
Is it in all caps?
It is in all caps.
Okay.
See, there's the
It's
problem.
about guys that need to lighten up.
Oh, yeah.
So the problem is that okay, here is a woman who is going to be directing a female-led Star Wars film, maybe a trilogy, depending on what happens with it,
Yeah.
and how well it's done. So as a woman, she's coming in and she says, "Hey, I think it's great to have a story shaped by a woman in this galaxy, and for a different perspective. It's something unusual."
Yep.
And I'm watching guys on my Facebook page have an utter meltdown, and I'm flashing back a little bit. You remember Catherine Bigelow and the Hurt Locker? So the Hurt Locker is like a war movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And Catherine Bigelow is a woman.
Yep.
And people are like, oh, she's not going to be able to do it. And what are they having a woman tackle this kind of thing? This is a man kind of movie, blah, 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 da, 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 whatever, whatever. And then the movie goes gangbusters and she wins the Oscar.
Yeah.
The first female director to win an Oscar for it. And the guys I'm seeing on Facebook are like, why do we have to keep mentioning that? It's a woman doing this. It's a woman doing that. It's this woman just achieved this or did that. Why do we have to keep talking about it? And it's like, it's because it's not normal for women to just direct projects. And in the case of Catherine Bigelow, who not only did Zero Dark 30, she went, or not only did the Hurt Locker, but she also did Zero Dark 30.
Strange Days or something, right? Was that were the other ones that she did?
Yeah.
I think that was called?
Well, I mean, she did Point Break, too, if you want to go back to her earlier stuff. But after she did, like, Zero Dark 30, and everybody's like, oh, my God, she's great. She's only done 2 movies. And usually the only reason a woman isn't directing a lot of movies is because somebody has passed her over for other stuff.
Yeah.
She got kind of squashed in it. And so she's working on her own project where she calls all the shots because she's not getting these jobs, even though she won an Oscar. She's insanely talented. And so I've got a whole bunch of guys on my Facebook page who are having why do we got to keep talking about that? And I'm like, if you let talented women direct good movies, then you can stop talking about it.
Yeah.
There will be fewer milestones to achieve because they will have been achieved, and people aren't going to have to call attention to it because it's just women doing good work.
Yeah.
Not the first woman to do this or that or the other thing, because we will have passed all of that.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just seeing a lot of really insecure guys on my Facebook feed. You sort of He-Man kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've been calling them out a lot lately. Because this kind of thing, when they're getting mad at this and going like, oh my God, a woman's going to take on Star Wars, it's going to suck. I'm like, really? Because here's a whole bunch of women-led movies that you really like.
I would say like, oh really? There's a bunch of guys that directed and they sucked.
Right? Let's take J.J. Abrams into account, shall we? I don't think he did the best job in the last trilogy. Why is she going to be any worse?
Yeah.
So I really want to see what she does, and I'm glad she's excited about it. I'm glad Daisy Ridley's excited about it, and let's give all these people a shot and stop, freaking out whether it's a woman or a man or whatever. How about it's a talented director doing a good job? That's been my rant the past few days. So
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I just want to see talented people make good Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we're never going to know if they do until they do.
Yep.
So, having not read the article because I was making bubble waffles before when I was supposed to be preparing for the show.
Oh
Sure.
God.
Did she say anything other than it's going to be very special?
She said this specifically. She says, I'm very thrilled about the project.
Yeah.
Because I feel what we're about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away.
Yep.
And it's taking place a decade after the events in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And in Rise of Skywalker, which a lot of people slammed, still made $1 billion.
Yeah, it made a ton of money.
In theaters.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of guys are getting really bent out of shape going, oh my God, it's a woman. What are we going to do? But look, she's really excited to do it. She's got a take on her story. Let her do her story. Yeah. Let's see how it is. And as long as all the people who are involved want to do a good movie, it's got just as good a shot as any to be a
I
good
can't
Star
wait
Wars
for the
movie.
day when it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Because there have been enough movies and it's just regular. And so that I don't have to feel like I have to like every movie that was directed by a woman just so that I can defend against the trolls.
Yeah. And admittedly, they're not all great.
Exactly.
I thought Wonder Woman was okay. And the second Wonder Woman I didn't even see because it sounded just awful. And that was what, Ava DuVernay who did
the
that?
stuff that she was doing with it. That she was doing with him, with Stephen Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor.
They're not all going to be.
What his name is.
But I'm tired of women who do things that we like, who then kind of get shot down because really insecure guys in the industry went, oh my God, the women are coming for our jobs.
Oh.
And that includes people like, say, Amy Heckerling, who came out of the gate with Fast Times at Ridgemont High, made a terrific movie, did a couple of things after that, and then just faded away because people wouldn't give her jobs. They wouldn't let her direct these big movies. And in the case of Catherine Bigelow that I mentioned, she's done a couple of shorts.
Yeah.
She's done 2 feature films in 11 years.
Yeah.
And it's why? She's amazing. Let her do a project. But in the industry, you've got a whole bunch of producers and studios and people who say, yes, you may do this project. Bing! And they get the little magic tap and it's great and they get to go do a project. And that's just kind of a real bummer. And if people just let talented people do movies, it wouldn't be, a man did this, a girl did that. It wouldn't be this stupid line. It would be wow. That was a good movie. Right. And that's really where I want to get. And so, watching some of my super He-Man friends get kind of, bitchy about this stuff, I'm like, you need to untwist your undies because
just tell them there's no crying at baseball.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Because there are a lot of really talented people out there who should just be allowed to continue to make movies. And a lot of times they just get shut down, and it's awful.
Moving on to theme parks. Disney came out with a bunch of snack-themed merchandise. I didn't see anything that thrilled me at all. I've seen better snack-themed merchandise previously.
Is it the same line of stuff that they've already been doing? What is it called? I don't remember what it's called.
There's whatever. It's just not very good.
It doesn't look like anything really new.
There's a Hawaiian style shirt with donuts and coffee and
I see the clothing.
ice cream bars. And then there are those awful shirts with the words that go from just below your armpit to just below your armpit on the other side.
The spirit jerseys.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
there's nothing exciting here at all.
I'm kind of scrolling through here. I don't see anything that's really making me go, woo. But
Yeah.
Disney's
Yeah.
really hung up on their food
Bizarre.
for some reason. And they have been for a while, and it's been getting more and more and more involved. But yeah, I don't see anything in here that makes me go, hey, that's really cool.
And then Disney has put out an article that is called 24 Things Coming in 2024. And they are calling them ooh-worthy things.
Oh boy.
And it's a mix of their ooh-worthy, like
Yeah.
ooh-worthy.
Yeah.
Well,
I get it.
I don't think Tiana's thing will be ready in time, but maybe in Disneyland.
Well,
Disney World it
this
will
is
be.
Disney World.
Yeah.
So
but the first one says
the first
both.
one. Oh yeah, it does say
Yeah.
both.
But I'm like, maybe it's a toughie on that one because they got started late compared to Disney World started earlier. Who
Well,
knows?
So they say Disney Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to open. They're going to have a new Star Tours attraction with characters and stories.
They have been talking about that for a while, and I guess that comes out May 4th.
I think weren't
That's
they
their
supposed to
Star
have
Wars
like
offering.
Ahsoka in it or something?
Yeah, they're bringing Ahsoka into it, and some of the Disney TV adventures are now going to be in Star Tours.
Okay.
The Season of the Force is going to be April 5th to June 2nd, and it
course.
will feature Hyperspace Mountain, special
Quebec.
merchandise, themed food and beverage, and more.
That'd be cool.
And the opening, the fireworks presentation that's going to happen in Galaxy's Edge that we talked about, I think, last week.
Right.
Okay.
They actually did do music on behalf of.
Pardon me.
They did do music on New Year's Eve, where they played Cantina music as the fireworks went off for the special New Year's Eve thing. And then I talked to somebody. I didn't stay for or I wasn't in GE for the fireworks presentation. I don't know where I was, but they didn't do any music for it last night. And I talked to some cast members who said that it wasn't going to happen for another 2 months.
Yeah.
So.
They're going to have Pixar Fest. They opened the Pixar themed hotel. They brought back Fantasmic. They're opening something new at Epcot. They're reimagining Little Mermaid in Florida.
Yeah.
The all-day park hopping is returning to Florida. The dining plan is returning to Florida.
Yeah.
Country Bear Jamboree at Walt Disney World Resort is getting new songs and a new act.
It's all Disney songs actually now.
Oh.
And they're going to be rockabilly, bluegrass, whatever interpretations of Disney songs, as opposed to what they weren't really Disney songs before.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
So
Where are they doing that?
Disney
Florida.
World?
And
But it doesn't
Country
appear that
Bear.
they're doing it in Japan.
for the Country Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Japan has a tendency to stay with whatever they stay with.
Yeah.
Like they're not changing their Splash Mountain
Yeah.
to match our Tiana thing and that kind of stuff.
Oh, in Japan, yeah.
They're opening a new cake store in Disney's Boardwalk, which is part of Disney World in Florida.
Yeah.
Run Disney is coming back to Disneyland.
Finally.
And they're having a Halloween-themed event, which I'm assuming is a Run Disney event.
They had a Run Disney event last year, I'm pretty sure. That was like their, reintroduction to all of that.
Fantasy Springs is opening up in Tokyo.
Cool.
The Disneyland Hotel in Paris is reopening. The Disney Treasure is debuting at the very end of the year.
That's the ship.
Yeah, the
That's
Disney
the
Cruise
new
Line
cruise
ship. Disney Lookout Cay in the Bahamas is where Disney Cruise Lines stop at Disney's private island.
Yes.
They're
Disney's
having
private island.
Pixar Day at Sea and Marvel Day at Sea on Disney Cruise Line.
And this isn't official, but there is also a Galactic Star Cruiser Day at Sea.
Bizarre.
There's a whole bunch of people who did the Galactic Star Cruiser who are lamenting the loss of that, so they are now moving their experience onto the actual cruise ships.
So, but is that going to get you anything if you didn't get to go? Like, will you just feel more left out if you go on that cruise
Well,
as someone who's
that's
never...
the thing, is that unless Disney says, "Ooh, we're gonna put our Halcyon characters on the cruise ship," it's just going to be a bunch of people.
It's just going to be a reunion for people who went already, and it's going to make everybody else
Yeah,
feel...
exactly. That's
Yep.
exactly
It
it.
doesn't cost as much.
The cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort are updated.
Yeah. I was going to open. I'm like, didn't we already
Disney
have
World
those?
has a vacation member lounge, so a place
boy.
with chairs.
Yay.
Ooh, cheers.
Adventures by Disney, which is tours that you can go on that Disney takes you on, are going to Colombia, the country.
Isn't this where you run into dinosaurs? This looks like dinosaur territory.
Did you say
Costa Rica.
dinosaurs?
No, I said dinosaurs.
I mean,
Am I the only one that heard that?
I think I saw that on the internet once.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a weird Rule 34 thing, Colleen.
man,
Didn't
a lot
you
of
send me
close-up
a waffle
photography.
maker
I
that one.
picture?
sent you
That's
a
right.
waffle maker picture.
oh my goodness.
Attack of the dinosaurs.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.
Story Living by Disney in California.
I have such a bad vibe about this.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Rancho Mirage Dealey Bopper.
The,
Yeah.
my
the
God.
Rancho Mirage Housing District, which is
Yeah.
going to have... can you imagine an HOA run by Disney?
I mean, you know, it gets closer and closer to what Walt wanted to do with Epcot
Yeah.
originally. So you know,
It's just, I mean,
But the
housing
community...
is so...
I don't think that it's going to open. I think that the sales are going to open.
I mean,
first time home buyers. come on in.
whatever this is, whatever this sort of house thing is that I'm showing, this is not attractive. This, I mean,
I'm sure some people like it.
it just, I don't know, it just looks like a condo as a house. Kind
It's hard
of
to
a deal.
tell.
Yeah.
But
This one picture.
housing is so weird in California anyway that I feel like this just makes it even weirder. And there's a whole subsection that's like just for 55 and over people, including like restaurants that you have to be old to go to.
There are
and
over
parks.
55 restaurants?
Parks you have to be old to
Interesting.
go to. Yeah, there's like this section that they've been talking about that's like very specific.
I hadn't heard that about the restaurants, but
yeah.
the parks I have.
Yeah, they're kind of weird.
Then they're talking about their snack collection again. The open world Star Wars game called Star Wars Outlaws will be
Yeah.
coming out in 2024.
How
be
about that?
fun.
You can risk it all as Kay Vess, an emerging scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life,
Yeah.
along with her companion Nyx.
Which is the little
Looks fun.
cutie thing that they're
Yeah,
going to
little
sell
three-tailed
merchandise
whatever it
was.
out of. Yeah.
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 D23 is happening again in 2024. It's happening in August 9th to 11th
In Anaheim.
in Anaheim.
Sometimes it's in Orlando, but it'll be in Anaheim.
And new Disney global ambassadors step into their roles.
Makes them hard to eat.
I don't. The team of 13 Disney ambassadors from 7 Disney destinations around the world will be serving a 2-year stint as goodwill emissaries who will shine a light on cast members, share the magic of Disney with guests, and inspire hope in local communities.
They are all very pretty.
That is probably a prerequisite.
Right.
And that is that.
Interesting.
Okay, and then the final thing, which is actually the biggest thing for a lot of people, is that there was an announcement today that Magic Keys, new Magic Keys, there's been a lot of confusion on this, will be on sale again starting January 10th. So a lot of people, when they heard that Magic Keys, because there's been a lot of buzz about it,
Yeah.
heard that Magic Keys were going on sale again, they went to the Disney Magic Key site for Disneyland, and there it says you can only renew, you can't buy new. But if you go to, there's another page that they put up that, Sean, if you're looking at it, it's under the more section there,
Oh,
is
okay.
the page that they put up. that actually says on it, new passes
Yeah,
will be
because
sold
whatever this
at
is,
all
it's a
4 levels.
video or something, which is
It
weird.
says, unlock the magic, the Disneyland Resort Magic Key program. Magic Key passes go on sale January 10th, 2024. All 4 pass types will be available for purchase. Get important buying tips below.
Yeah, it's people have been making a lot of fun of the Magic Key type names, which have always been kind of amusing. And they're like, I imagine I can afford it. I'd be enchanted to inform it. I believe I can afford this key, and I'm almost inspired to buy one. Which I thought was kind of amusing. But the prices have gone up, by the way. Don't forget. I know that the top of the line key is now $1,649.
Good freaking Lord.
Yeah, I am very probably not going to be renewing this year.
It's really hard.
Because it's gotten to the point where I could probably just buy outright tickets, go fewer times, and have better quality of time when I go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is really kind of a bummer, and it's one of those things that everybody that I know is thinking hard about whether they're going to do it or not, just because the price keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And, with all the stuff that's closing and
Well, then it'll be really great Magic Key meetups for people who have been on the Halcyon, because only people who can afford to go on the Halcyon
right
can afford to
have a Magic Key. That's right.
Yeah.
Yay.
But I did have several people reach out to me about it today, and my opinion on various levels of passes.
Right.
And my opinion is they've gotten a little pricey.
Yeah, geez Louise.
Yeah, it is really very sad.
Yeah, and I have to say that if they didn't have Galaxy's Edge, then we wouldn't have bought them this year.
Yeah.
It's only Galaxy's Edge that's keeping us there.
Yeah, that one I go there once a year.
Yeah, well,
that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, and I should probably make sure people know that unless you buy the highest level passport, the highest level Magic Key, you will not be able to get into Disneyland using your Magic Key on any of those except the one that costs $1,700.
Yeah.
To get in.
Well, and now
ridiculous.
like the top of the line one used to get you all year access. You can't go during the Christmas holiday now at all. So I've been blocked out the past 2 weeks. And so if you wanted to go during the Christmas season, you were out of luck.
Yeah.
Which was really, really kind of a bummer. So that's that.
Yeah. Sean, you want to take the next section?
I will. So lost a few people this week. It's kind of a long list. Tom Wilkinson passed away at the age of 75. He was in Shakespeare in Love, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and The Full Monty, for which he won a BAFTA award. And when Disney Plus did the streaming series on it, he came back and did his role again. But he sadly passed away with the 130 film and TV credits to his name. And it does not say what he passed away from that I see. Lots of tributes, though, on his behalf. Bobby Rivers passed away. He was a movie critic and a TV personality on VH1. He had a talk show called Watch Bobby Rivers. And he was 70. We had Miguel Angel Fuentes passed away. He was a Mexican actor who was in the movie Caveman with Ringo Starr. And he did Charles Bronson movie. He performed with Peter Coyote. and also did the movie Blow with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, and was in telenovelas for like a really long time. And Jeff might remember him because he was in MST3K, because he was in the movie Puma Man.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's
and
that's
he
how I
also
remember
did
him.
Death Stalker and the
Yeah.
Warriors from Hell.
And he did some movie that had to do with like the Bermuda Triangle or something. It was probably all for the same company.
Right. Shecky Green, stand-up comedian who worked with absolutely everybody, did a long stint in Las Vegas. He was like sort of Rat Pack adjacent, and but worked with Elvis and Frank Sinatra. He died at the age of 97, and he was one of those guys who could just do everything. He could tell jokes. He could he was like an insult comic. He would tell stories. He could just zing people off the cuff. And he used to fill in for Johnny Carson a lot. And then eventually I think he also filled in for like Mark Griffin and, other talk show hosts. He was in the TV series Combat. He did Love American Style and Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Laverne and Shirley, and The Fall Guy and the A-Team, and just on and on and on and on. He was absolutely everything. And between his guest host gig and his appearances on Johnny Carson, he did 60 of those. Absolutely nuts. And then the Dean Martin show. And he was the guy was just like a comedy god. Anna Ophelia Murigua, who was in the film Coco, passed away at the age of 90. So she was Mama Coco in the film.
Yeah.
And was sad to hear of her passing. Brian Ansell has passed away, and if you're a gamer, you will know him as the co-creator of Warhammer, which, of course, Warhammer 40K is like a big, huge deal now. Back in the 1980s, Warhammer was mostly confusing us. If you were doing role-playing games and stuff, it was like half role-playing, half strategy. It was really kind of confusing. But he worked with Games Workshop, and Richard Hollowell and Rick Priestley were the other co-creators of Warhammer, and that came out in 1983. And I remember us playing it in high school. But it was one of those things that you had to have a certain amount of money to be able to get, because there were miniatures involved and lots of stuff like that. But anyway, look at my Facebook feed. I had so many people who are into Warhammer right now. I spent so much money in it. It's nuts. I feel like we were just talking about her a couple of weeks ago, but Glynis Johns passed away.
We were something. I can't remember what it was though.
I can't either. She was the grandmother in While You Were Sleeping. And I think that's why we were talking about her, because we did a quiz of Christmas movies. Anyway, she was probably best known for being the mother in Mary Poppins.
Yes.
She passed away at the age of 100. And of course, we'll always know her as Mrs. Banks. But
and Diane's mom on Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yes.
I didn't realize that.
She won a Tony Award for A Little Night Music. And she was the person who, because you almost never hear her version of it, although I play it on my show. She was the person who originated the song Send in the Clowns. And it was written expressly for her particular style because she's not a strong singer. So very short lines with emotional punch, but no big, long, drawn-out notes and things because she's just not a strong singer. So anyway, that's definitely some pretty sad news. I liked her While You Were Sleeping. I thought it was pretty cool. And gosh, that's it. But man, that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like the year ended and started with a vengeance. It's like, ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeff, what would you like to talk about?
I'm gonna connect like two things because it's all the same thing anyway.
Mhm.
There's a it's not really a trailer. It kind of is. It's really more of like a short, and it's called This is Choctaw. That's in the trailers, and it's actually sort of like behind the scenes of sorts of the new series coming out, Echo, which is a spinoff from the Hawkeye series, and it just basically goes into a lot of in that they went into a lot of the Choctaw heritage, the character being Choctaw Indian, and the Choctaw Nation coming in and getting everything, working with them to make sure they got everything right. And then they actually went in and there's 5 episodes coming, and they went in and they actually have a Choctaw language one coming out.
Oh, wow.
So they can watch the entire series in Choctaw. So yeah, they're redubbed.
Wow.
So that, there's that.
That's pretty cool.
The other part was like who is this? There's something called Who is Echo, and it's talking about like it was like a AV club. I'll put that link if I can throw it up in there in the chat thingy, and it just goes into the it gives you an incredibly brief thing about like what Echo, who Echo is from the series, which is very short. The fact, like from Hawkeye, you just know that she's deaf, but she can read lips, and she has photographic memory, so that when she fights someone, it's very hard to defeat her because she knows your entire fight pattern.
And she's missing a leg, right?
And then, I think in this one she's missing a leg. In the comics, there's a lot of that, and she also she worked in the comics. It was different. In the comics, she's sent to kill Daredevil. In the series, she's off to kill like Clint Barton, because Kingpin told her that Clint killed her father, but it was someone within the organization there in the series. Not Clint, not Daredevil.
Right.
And of course, in the comics, Daredevil didn't do it either. It was somebody else. So that's why they're bringing in the Kingpin, bringing in Daredevil and such. But in the comics,
but in the MCU,
yes,
Clint did do it, right?
No, I don't. No, he really. They don't really make that clear.
Oh, I thought he did it.
It's kind of muddied. But maybe I'll have to go back and watch. But I think it was pretty muddied as to what happened. I think what actually occurred was it had to do with the guy that was like her boyfriend or something in it. Yeah. In the comics, she actually is like she fights Namor and stuff. There's like the Phoenix Force comes and makes some sort of secret war sort of thing, whatever, to try to see who should have the Phoenix powers, and then she eventually gets them in the comics. So she becomes an incredibly powerful superhero. You know, So I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to go that route. You never know, since Disney now has the X-Men again. So, but we'll see about that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that sounds neat. I guess I will talk about the 135th Rose Parade.
Woo!
Because I'm a fan.
Which was
the Rose
good this
Parade.
year.
It was good.
Mostly.
Thanks, Eric.
I have to say that I have a relationship with the Rose Parade, having grown up right near it. Just, like it's always been part of my life.
Yeah.
No, I don't have as close a relationship as Sean does, because he's been in the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
I never have, and he's done a lot more float decorating than I have, which is any at all.
Neat.
My family used to do that on a regular basis because our uncle used to help design Cal Poly Pomona's floats. So we all got pressed into service to get coated in glue, coated in flowers. Yeah. But as a kid, we loved it. It was pretty awesome.
And I love the fact that the Rose Parade, if you watch KTLA, and if you're not watching KTLA, what are you doing? watch it.
Yeah,
Watch it
yeah.
on KTLA.
Yeah.
There's no reason to watch it on any other
Yeah, there is no reason. at all.
anything else other than that.
They had an KTL is also doing a live stream on YouTube.
So they do it. They play it first during the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. slot or something like
Yeah.
that, and it's commercial free.
Yeah.
And it's just broadcast on Channel 5 locally, KTLA. And their only commercials are they'll have a little banner at the bottom that'll
Yes.
say this part of the parade is brought to you by Honda or whoever. And they also stream it on their show. And then they show it after it's finished the first time.
Yeah.
Then they show it the whole rest of the day. They just
Yeah.
repeat it with commercials. So you
Yeah.
have commercial breaks after the first showing, but they show it the rest of the day. And also streaming, they have a band cam, which means if you want to hear the full music that
Yes.
the bands are playing and not have people talk over it, you have that opportunity. And I love the fact that when you go tune into the Rose Parade, you actually get to see the whole parade, as opposed
Yeah.
to when you watch the Macy's parade or something like that on Thanksgiving. Every time you see a band coming and you're like, oh, there's a band, they cut to a commercial.
Yeah.
And then the band is leaving. And you didn't get to see the band. You didn't get to see the flags.
No.
Well,
The only things that you get to see are the floats and all of their acts that they stop for in the middle. When
Yeah.
I'm here to see a parade, I'm not here to see a play.
Yeah.
And the first airing of the parade with the on KTLA has no commercials in it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
so
said.
because the parade is over and done, you can actually go to YouTube
Yeah.
and
It's all
this
whole
is
thing. Yeah.
the band cam and that's it. And
Yeah.
so they just show you the bands marching around. They
Yep.
don't cut to people. They don't talk over
Yeah.
it. They don't do anything like that. The only thing I wish they did is I really wish that they would show what the name of the song is that they're
Oh,
playing.
yeah, yeah,
Because
you kinda have to
sometimes you're
guess.
like, what is that? I
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
it is. It's driving me
Maybe
crazy.
you
Yeah.
have to, with the band cam, you could play your, don't you have an app that if you
So-
play music to it?
Yes, it won't always do it though,
No.
There
because
was,
it's got to be something they recognize.
So Don is saying that he doesn't get KTLA where he lives, but
YouTube, dude.
KTLA streams online.
They stream
so
online. Yeah, exactly.
I was watching on YouTube.
And I was trying to find. That's what I'm
Yeah,
showing
YouTube
right now
had
is
it
YouTube.
streaming
Right.
on it. I can
And I
find it
was
for
trying
you.
to find the Scottish band that
There was
our friend marched in.
Oh.
One of our
Oh, I saw that.
501st
Yeah.
people.
It wasn't gigantic, but it was pretty cool. There was in the beginning before the parade started, they showed a rehearsing band in a gymnasium, and I could swear I never saw it during the parade. So maybe they weren't in the parade, but it was like the Toho High School marching band. I'm like,
No, they were there.
They were?
They were there.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Because I mentioned.
okay, because I'm like Toho. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, Sean and I talked about
Yeah,
it.
because
Okay.
we talked about it.
Oh, good.
And we mentioned
I'm gonna have to find it because I didn't
Godzilla
see it.
connection. And
Yeah.
the whole-
I was in the marching band in high school, and I was a tall flag, and I like to watch the tall flags
Yeah.
because I have experience with that, and I
Yeah.
think they're fun. And
There it is.
this
I
is
found
the
the
only
Celts,
parade where
yeah.
I get to see it.
Yeah.
Where I get to see the tall flags.
And so our
Exactly.
friend Mickey is third from the left.
Okay.
She's marching there. She does 501st stuff, and she's got the red sash and
Okay,
the
I see.
majorette staff.
Nice.
And but this was great because these people came from all around the country, and they put them on a field, and sort of they figured out what they were going to do together to so that they had a unified front. And this included the dancers that are following them, who were from everywhere. And they basically just got together, agreed on something, said, we're
Yeah.
all going to do this, and then knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And that actually happens more often than you would think with the Rose Parade, because the Rose Parade has minimum sizes for
Yeah.
bands. So a
Right.
lot of schools, like my high school, could never have been in the Rose Parade because you have to have a minimum of 100, I think, in your group in order to be a marching band. And so in LA, there aren't any marching bands that are
Yeah.
that big in the high schools. So they put together a Los Angeles, like combined high schools. Every high
Yeah.
school in Los Angeles, you can audition to be part of the band that marches in that.
Oh,
And
okay.
there are other places that do that too. Like this Scottish group, and
Yeah.
although the Scottish group isn't from Scotland, it's from here.
Yeah.
Which surprised me because I thought it was going to be something from Scotland.
Yeah. I put a link in, so if anyone wants, if they feel like watching the entire parade with announcers, as opposed to the one that the band camp, which I think Sean put a link somewhere, there's that too. They can watch
Yeah,
the full parade.
Toho was after the really weird band that was called Boss, Bands of Santiago Sharks.
Oh, okay.
From Corona, California.
Oh,
and they
okay.
had all the shark-related stuff. Like their marching banner had fins on it. Their
Oh, okay.
flags had like sharks with teeth. Their band hats had little like sort of chrome flashy fins on them. They took the shark thing to like 11. It was really kind of awesome. Yeah. And so after that was the Japan Honor Green Band from Nagoya Aichi, Japan, and they were the Toho marching
okay.
band. And they did make it in there. So
Oh, good.
Sean?
yeah, so this is the time of year when people like to make lists. We have seen a number of lists happen that have been, the best sci-fi fantasy films and whatever. And some of the ones I've been seeing have been real crap. Rolling Stone just put out one that's the 150 greatest science fiction movies of all time. Came out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And, at least Rolling Stone, I kind of look at and go, well, okay, they have a better choice. Because a lot of the lists I see, it's like, no one who made this list is over, like, 30, right? Because they'll list something as their favorite movie, and I'm like, really? Are you seriously considering this as your best thing? And like one list we were looking at that we have up on sci-fi.radio, there is nothing basically before the year 2000 that's in the top 10. And it's like, wow. So this one starts out well, where it's and I'm gonna pop to the it's backwards, which is annoying, but I'm gonna pop down here to the first thing, which is 2001 A Space Odyssey. And I'm like, okay, I can see why they might list this number one. And
Yeah.
the second one is some movie called Stalker, which I've like never heard of at all. And then we get Close Encounters, reasonable. Blade Runner, reasonable.
Yeah.
Alien, great. Under the Skin,
What is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's like Scarlett Johansson as an alien or something.
It's the one I thought it was, where she like absorbs people.
Yeah.
She lures people to their death and absorbs their bodies, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
some
really?
bizarre
Do you like it
thing.
just because it's naked Scarlett Johansson?
That's it.
Children of Men, which is Alfonso Cuarón. Okay, I
Not
kind
to
of
be
get it,
confused with Children of the Corn.
but it's a dystopian nightmare kind of movie.
Yeah.
Metropolis from 1927 is number 8. All right. Star Wars is 9. And I'm surprised it's not The Empire Strikes Back, because most people like that more than Star
Yeah.
Wars. 10 is The Matrix. Starship Troopers is 11. Like, really? It's fun,
Just bizarre.
Starship Troopers is kind of crap.
right? The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951. Man Who Fell to Earth. Arrival, which I thought Arrival was okay.
Yeah.
I liked Arrival, but I wouldn't put it like
And like
the
the of the recent movies, like I really like Edge of Tomorrow, but you can't tell me there aren't better sci-fi movies than that. Edge of Tomorrow was great, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I don't think it deserves to be number 15 on this list.
I think we should reorganize, like take some time not when we're
Yeah.
not on the air and reorganize this list so that it is
Seriously, because Edge of Tomorrow beat out Terminator 2. I mean, really?
that's just not right.
right.
And
mean,
it beat out Alien?
no, Alien was high in the list, but it beat out
It beat
Planet of the Apes. It beat out The Thing.
But it beat out Aliens.
Yes, it beat
Bizarre.
out Aliens and The Empire Strikes Back, which is number 22. I mean, there are so much better
golly.
movies, and like as far as better Tom Cruise
What
movie,
the
like
heck,
Minority
people?
Report, I think is better.
Did they explain like who they are to be making these judgments?
No, and it's a whole bunch of different people writing. They all have initials at the end of each of the blurbs, because it basically gives you a rundown of what the movie is, but they don't necessarily say why it's awesome. So I don't know. I haven't found a list yet that I'm in agreement with, because some of the choices that they make are like crazy, and
Yeah.
and some of these movies, like they don't have to be the most popular movie, but some of them I haven't even heard of.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of number 2 on their list.
Yeah, and so that's kind of weird.
Starship Troopers is just ridiculous. That movie was a pile of doo.
And they have some good things on it, like Akira is
Yeah.
on it.
Like, why is
Aliens is 34,
under what?
and
I didn't realize
What?
I don't know.
Just boggles
Arrow
the
Man
mind.
was in Arrival.
Yeah, he was Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Arrow Man. You got to give me credit for knowing who that was.
You did get credit for that.
Like,
The original Godzilla is 37.
what were they smoking with some of these?
Right. But like Inception is at 38. I feel like it should be higher. And then Wall-E is 39, and I'm not sure that Wall-E needs to be that high on the list. And I love it, don't get me wrong. I think it's great. But Wall-E beat out Terminator? Anyway, I think
The
I'm sure
hell?
I'm just showing my age here.
Alphaville?
Yeah,
Well,
Terminator was
surely
40, Dawn.
Quartermass and the Pit must have been higher than 25.
What the hell?
I mean,
There's a lot. Yeah, I don't
Back to
recognize
the Future is 42.
A bunch of these, I'm like, what is this movie? What is that? You know,
They
Jesus.
Live is 43.
so the first step
this
in
is
redoing
just
this list is just going
sorry,
through
bad
and
language.
crossing out things
Freaking
that we've never
bizarre.
heard of.
Yeah. Well, and obviously we have
Potty
to come
mouth.
through and change number 44, which is Gravity, to Mavity, because
It is Mavity now.
that's how that goes now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't agree with all of these, and I wish they explained how they made the choice better. Mad Max is 48, and
It
so
doesn't make any sense.
let me
Good
see.
gravy.
When it came to rank the greatest sci-fi movies of all time, we couldn't stop at 100. We went bigger, added an extra 50.
Yeah, you've added a bunch of 50 garbage ones.
There were more than a few arguments when it came to the picks. It was also decided early on that superhero movies
Oh my God.
as a whole usually fall out of the parameters of science fiction,
Some of the
so you
other
won't
stuff.
see the MCU and stuff here on
I
the
think
list.
there's a few things on that list that shouldn't be on there either, but okay.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is 49.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't that good. Anyway, check out the list. You guys decide what you think about it. I've sat with it for a couple of days,
You can only look at 50 of them at a time.
and I'm not getting any better with it.
And then eventually you have to subscribe.
No, there's if you look up at the top, you can choose by number.
Oh.
There, once you scroll down, there's a timeline at the top that lets you choose by group.
Okay.
Like Total Recall is 73.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell is better than that. Logan's Run is better than
I'm
that.
sorry, but I don't think The Last Jedi was better than The Iron Giant.
Iron Giant was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
say. Escape from New York was 70,
Wow.
but Fahrenheit 451 came in ahead of that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
boy.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of weird ones in there that I'm like, I don't know what the heck that
I
even
was
is.
going to call on Jeff again, but it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
we
we gotta take 2
ranted
minutes.
all the way through
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of a big one. Sorry about
our
that.
time.
Yeah.
So hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We are very grateful that you do. Any time that you choose to spend with us is pretty terrific. Big thanks to Kit again for doing her usual thing, keeping our show document in order with all of our topics and things, and for posting up on the DB94 Facebook page. You can catch us on sci-fi.radio, and that's there 24/7. There's this show replays at some point during the weekend. I don't remember where. But there's a whole schedule up there, and if you like nerd music, you want to hear some Weird Al and some goofy stuff, you can always check in over there because that runs 24/7. And I'll be on in the morning doing my usual 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. stint Pacific time, and we'll close out the week tomorrow. If you want to join me tomorrow, it should be pretty great. Beyond that, gosh, I hope you have a really good week.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
This is Joe Donoho.
I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby, as always.
May the Force
be with you. Let's give you guys a little credit stuff here. Oh, and I should give credit, if you've been watching the video. If you look behind Jeff, we've got Gregor's CNC machined Docking Bay 94 sign all lit up back there. I haven't found the best place for it yet, and it's kind of hanging off my closet. So we'll have to figure out the best way to make that happen. But it looks pretty great. So
Just go low enough to show the whole thing.
that's pretty funny. Anyway, we leave you guys on the video with the credits over here. See you next week, guys.